Motor Mania is all about avoiding the crowd, low-impact exercise, making sure your head is on straight. Because indoor kart racing is in the house of Tunica. Welcome, everyone, to Motor Mania, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. We're at the Indoor Kart Championships at Paul Battle Jr. Arena in Tunica, Mississippi. We'll be covering 5 different categories here on the dirt inside. As a matter of fact, about that dirt, let's check in right now with Doc Riley.
At any racetrack, turns 1 and 2 are pretty important. And here at Tunica, turns 1 and 2 have been, well, a little bit of a problem for a number of kart competitors. This part of the entire track is a little bit rough. It's washboarded a little bit. We can tell you one thing, in qualifying, every single team we've talked to has said one thing: tire pressure is so very, very key. They're deflating the tires to give you a better contact patch, and this is the reason why. Right here, the apex of turn 1 and 2. Karts may start to bounce a little bit here because of the washboarding. That will throw them out of kilter, so to speak, out of their groove, and that launches them. Some karts may get a little bit airborne as you get closer back into turn 2. The problem there, you don't have an awful lot of time to regroup. These karts are turning some incredible speeds, and if you get in trouble here, it'll get you in bigger trouble there, and it'll pay off in the big trouble department right in the wall in turn 2.
Thank you very much, Doc. Ted Jones and Bobby Waltrip here, Mike's side with you as we get the green flag on the 3rd restart right here. Taking the lead, Lucas Wallace.
Wallace held the lead here early, and he's always strong at this racetrack. These guys with roll bars, seat belts, you can watch for some action to happen here early on, Ted.
Wallace with a strong lead. Brian Smith in 2nd place, followed by Jason Moss.
Oh, a big crash down here in turn number 2, and it looks like it's the number 42 of Michael Moore going around. No caution.
Many second-generation racers run in this right here. Now, this is the senior Champ Heavy, so these aren't the second-generation racers, but they'll come up later on with the junior Champ Heavy. We'll cover that for you.
A couple of cars that we see always, you need to keep an eye on here. That's the 47 Roger Paget, always in the hunt when it comes down to the final laps of these races here in Senior Champ.
Lucas Wallace still with the lead right there. As we're 4 laps into the event, they'll be running a 20-lap event.
It's 20 laps. It's either 20 laps or 20 minutes, Ted, whichever comes first.
Yeah, if they have a lot of crashes, a lot of amber flags come out right there, they do put a 20-minute time limit on it because they have so many classes to race here today in Tunica, Mississippi. Right now, the battle for 1st and 2nd between Lucas Wallace, and right on his tail is Jason Moss.
And here's the battle back here at 4th. We talked about him earlier. Roger Paget, RP in that 47, along with Randy Nesbitt. Oh, big crash coming off 4.
Well, that would be Brandon Cavanaugh who hit the wall. Now he's motioning everybody to, number 1, stay away from me, and number 2, get me going. But we restart with lap number 6 right here.
And they'll go side by side down into turn 1 and 2. But this won't last for very long. Down the back straightaway, it is the 73 out front showing the way, and that's Jason Moss.
Moss takes the lead over Lucas Wallace. Let's see if he can hold it through the entire 20 laps or 20 minutes. Meanwhile, it looks like Jason Tucker there going down in the infield, Bobby.
As Jay Tucker, and he was trying to make a pass in the grass, but there's no grass down there, Ted.
This is all solid dirt, and you can see that Jason Moss still with a solid lead right there, followed closely by Lucas Wallace.
Your top 3 cars now all nose to tail, trying to just put in some laps here and try to survive until we get down closer toward the end of this main event.
Meanwhile, let's take a look at the battle for 2nd place between Lucas Wallace, who formerly led this race, and Jesse Fox in number 50.
And those guys are trying to stay patient up front, and a battle, big battle going on back here for the number 7 spot. That's the number 19 and the 54. That's Brian Smith. Brian Smith out of Newburgh, Indiana, will be a figure in this race before it's over, Ted.
He's being challenged by Justin Lowe. Now Justin Lowe gets into it, and the 2 of them slide out. That's Michael Moore with Justin Lowe. So that'll put them pretty well out of the lead unless there's another yellow caution flag.
And cautions are hard to come by here at Tunica. If every time somebody spun they threw a caution out, we'd be out here all night long. So we try to stay clean and green, and we're doing that right now as the race winds down here in this latter laps. We're going to see some action start to take place up front, I guarantee it.
Meanwhile, Jason Moss still in the lead, being pursued closely by Lucas Wallace.
And a little bit of problem here. It looks like the number 50, and that's Jesse Fox up high, trying to make his way down to the infield to get out of harm's way. A good battle going on right here for the number 4 spot. That's the number 3. It looks like the outlaw Jesse James and the 79 is cruising along right here, and that's Randy Nesbitt started up in the top 5.
Meanwhile, a comfortable lead right there for Jason Moss, our leader, as we're down to the final laps right now.
And this will be interesting, Ted. Keep your eye on these cars. They know the laps are running out. If you're going to make a move, you got to do it now.
Well, you can see that battle continues on right there between Jesse James and Randy Nesbitt. And oh, they finally hooked up right there in turn number 1 and spun it out.
And that's the outlaw Jesse James, the female, and Randy Nesbitt. And Ted, you know, let's see if we can get a replay of this and see what happens. Coming off turn 4, they get hooked together, front bumper to back bumper. Then you see what happens after that.
We'll have more when we return. Stay tuned. O'Reilly's Motor Mania is being brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people. And by Summit Racing Equipment, the world speed shop. And by Moroso Performance Products, race-proven Moroso.
No matter what motorsport you're involved in, the most important part of real estate is not on the track, it's here in Victory Lane. Tom Conkergood of O'Reilly Auto Parts joins us. And Tom, this is an incredible weekend, man. I mean, there's an awful lot of karts here. Teams are here from all over the country, and all they want is to get that slot machine from you at the end of the weekend.
You know, Doc, we have 700 karts plus that come here this weekend, and they're competing for one thing. That slot machine, that means they're number 1 in the World Championship of Go-Kart Racing.
You know, bragging rights, some people say, oh yeah, it's all about the cash and everything else, but there's, you know, 1 slot machine per class, 1 trophy no matter where you go. You guys do over like 1,100 events a year. Why get involved with something like this?
Because these people are where we want to be at. These guys are moving up in the ranks of motorsports. These guys are going to be buying parts from us the next 10, 15, and 20 years down the road, where we want to be with them.
These guys are on the move, not only in the big-time motorsports, but right here, the fundamentals, the building block at the National Indoor Karting Championships.
All right, thank you very much, Doc Riley. We're ready to restart. We're in the Senior Champ Heavy, lap 16. There's only 20 laps. Taking the lead right away, Jason Moss.
Moss, look, we've got Wallace Nesbitt and Roger Paget. We talked about him earlier in that number 47. You need to keep an eye on him. He figures in these outcomes in these events every time.
And because of that caution flag, boy, they're all bunched up again. Anybody could win this. We're down to only about 2 laps remaining. Look at the battle right there for first place.
It's time to root and gouge. Let's push and shove. Framin and Bamman. Here they go down the back straightaway. Looking down on the inside. Side by side. They touch. Look at this. And Randy Nesbitt comes out here with the lead down the front straightaway with the white flag in the air.
And that'll put Jason Moss out of it. He's back in about 3rd. The final lap, you saw the white flag. Randy Nesbitt well ahead. Does anybody have a chance to pass him? If he doesn't make a mistake, there comes the checkered flag. A last-minute upset. That was incredible, Bobby.
It was Nesbitt, Paget, Moss, Smith, and Campbell. Wow, what a finish here to our Senior Champ Heavy.
Let's check in right now. Doc Riley is with our winner.
Just kind of describe the last couple of laps.
Oh man, it was crazy. I knew they was going to probably get together. I was hoping anyway so I could swing through there, but it was a good race. I give credit to everybody out there. They're all good racers, and it was just a good time.
Up next now, the green flag will fall on the Junior Champ Heavy. Same karts, different age for the drivers.
That's exactly right. These things run restrictor plates, and a little bit younger drivers, a little bit lighter weight, but the same intense competition.
Ashton McLeod will take the lead right there with the fall of the green flag. No sooner did he get that out than Tyler Smith moved into the lead.
Tyler Smith has run really well here for the last several years. A good little driver, but look at this. He has problems going around in the infield.
Well, these karts are extremely short wheelbase. They will spin out on you in a minute, let me tell you.
They look like little porpoises going around this racetrack. A lot of laps been put in here, but through all of that, we've got a new leader, and it's the number 11 of Ashton McLeod.
You can see him right there in front. Boy, this is a really great battle. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, back-to-back, single file.
And these drivers right here are pretty calm, pretty patient. But as this continues to go on, it's going to be tougher and tougher to get around the guys in front, as now we got a 4-way battle for the top spot.
Look at Pete Miller trying to dive down inside right there to take the lead. Can't quite get it done.
And Pete Miller has had his eyes on keeping the Look at this, the number 11. He's looking for him to bounce up. He does, and diving down to the bottom and taking over the top spot. It'll be Pete Miller.
But it doesn't stand. Ashton McLeod will get the pole position on the restart because Miller dove down inside after the caution flag came out.
And Miller gets shoved up to the high side. And look at this, just one little bobble and 5 karts go by with a huge battle going on here for the number 3 spot, Ted.
That's between Hunter Anderson and Tyler Miles.
Tyler frequent flyer Miles, and as things go on, you'll see why we call him that.
Meanwhile, one more car spins out. You notice how quick they get them back in action. Here's another spin out.
And that's the number 200 of Mitch Wood. No harm, no foul. But Mitch Wood gets back underway, and we stay clean and green.
Ashton McLeod still with a comfortable lead. He's actually got about a 4 or 5 kart lead right now. Take a look at the battle for 3rd and 4th between Hunter Anderson and Jessica Bahaka.
In the 0-1, your outside pole setter, Cody Jaggers, goes around, and watch what ensues after that.
More of them in the melee right there. Jaggers, Miller, Bahaka all spinning out. Meanwhile, the restart on lap number 7. And still Ashton McLeod with the lead, but seriously being challenged, and he loses the lead. Hunter Anderson got him on the inside.
The 71, the Crocodile Hunter Anderson takes over the top spot as the laps start to wind down here in Tunica.
Boy, you can see him wheel to wheel and fender to fender. Right now, McLeod trying to catch up to Hunter Anderson. He'll try and move down inside, and he spins out trying to make that inside move.
He got down there to the bottom, bounced up off the bump, and around he went to the infield.
We'll restart now after the yellow flag, lap number 13.
And because of our time limit here, Ted, we're going to go green, white checker, so keep your eyes up front. Everybody's gunning for the Crocodile Hunter Anderson.
The white flag is out. Hunter Anderson in the lead. Will he make a mistake and give it up?
We've watched it happen several times, through 3 and 4 for the final time, but it won't happen this time. There's your winner. It's going to be the 71 of Hunter Anderson.
A great close finish. Tyler Miles, Josh Palmer, Cody Caldwell. Let's go to Doc Riley.
How did you get to the front?
If it wasn't for my parents and my stepdad and all them and Jeff Walston and all them helping me, I probably couldn't have, but it's pretty cool. You come out here and there's all this competition, and it was hard, but I followed through with it.
Welcome back to O'Reilly's Motor Mania, this week covering the O'Reilly Indoor Kart Championships from Paul Battle Junior Arena in Tunica, Mississippi, as they prepare the track a little bit for the Junior 1 Heavies. There's the green flag right now. Ryan Lucia, the pole setter, number 181, takes an immediate lead. Going in right now to turn number 4. Lucia, a little bit of a bump there and hits the wall hard, spins around. Boy, he's getting banged around like dodgem cars in there, and I think that'll put Lucia out of the race. So we'll restart the race right now with Lucia out.
It's going to be Ryan Harris, Lee Justice, and Cole Campbell running up front. Lucia with just too much damage on that kart to continue, Ted.
Tell us a little bit about the difference between this class, the Junior 1 Heavy, and the Junior Heavy we just saw.
Well, these cars run a little bit smaller restrictor plate. It's a younger driver, and another thing about them is they have started now to where they're going to start breaking up between 8 and 10, 10 and 12. But these drivers right here are 8 to 12 years old.
All right, and you saw right there we had a new lead taken over by Ryan Harris, who has a very comfortable lead.
Yeah, and it's kind of, he's like yawning right now out front, no action, but I expect it won't be long before we see some more stuff going on.
Meanwhile, take a look at the battle for 9th, Bobby.
Back here in the number 9 spot, several karts as this field spreads out, trying to group together and run down that leader.
Spinning out right now,
it's Graydon Lovelace and Jordan Ryan. Those are the 2 karts involved.
So they'll have a restart on lap number 12. Remember, we have a 20-minute limit, and still Ryan Harris with the lead.
And Cole Campbell, Zach Hockemeyer now running right there with them. So our top 3 in a little bit of a breakaway over the rest of the field. As a move down on the inside, Hockemeyer tries to take it over, and he does it.
Battle for 2nd place, an easy runaway right now for Ryan Harris, but plenty of action back in the pack.
The Rhino out front with it on cruise control. But that doesn't mean a whole lot. Things can happen here in a heartbeat, as we've seen. And one little wrong move, the caution comes out, and this field's bunched back together again.
Or sometimes the caution doesn't come out. You saw a kart hit the wall there. That's a special wall. By the way, running in 2nd place, Zachary Hockmeyer.
Hockemeyer now trying to put a little bit of pressure on up front. And Ted, you mentioned these walls. It's a new, safer barrier that runs all the way around the inside of this racetrack, stops them from running head on into the concrete.
Well, and if they do, you can see right there, they just bounce off of it with very little damage, so the caution flag goes out on lap number 16. And boy, that driver's just a little bit upset that he's hit the walls. Get me out of here right now. On the restart, once again, Ryan Harris takes the lead.
And look at this, all the way up into the number 3 spot after starting 18th, it's Alex LaCroix.
Meanwhile, Lee Justice right there, number 76, just hit the wall. Last lap, time limits out. They're not going to do 20 laps, white flags out. Look at the battle for 5th place. It'll be an easy win for Ryan Harris, but what a battle for 5th, bumping each other all around. Checkered flag for Ryan Harris. Here's the way they finish. Ryan Harris, Cole Campbell, Ryan Montgomery, Dylan Deckard. Let's go to Doc Riley with our winner.
It looks like you started that race outside of road 2. How'd you get to the front so quick?
Well, I was expecting the track to be real bumpy, and it was, and I was ready for it, and I think they weren't. So I just went in and lifted a little more and came out in front.
Let's get started now with Stock Light. The green flag is out. Taking the lead right away is Kyle Lentz. Bumper to bumper, tell us a little bit about the Stock Light category, Bobby.
These are adult drivers, 15 years of age and older. The lightweight naturally signifies the combined weight of the cart and driver together, and these are non-restricted engines, one of the fastest classes we'll have here all weekend long.
Stacy Phillips, one of the favorites here, who started in 2nd place, has fallen all the way back to 4th. He has engine problems, I think, Bobby.
Well, you know, it's one of those deals. You really can't tell, and he might be off just a little bit on the setup, because anytime you see a driver that's got that SBR decal on it, they're not going to be bad for very long.
Now, even though this is a stock category with just one engine, about how fast do they travel?
I'm going to say on this racetrack, Ted, indoor, 8th mile, probably running 60, 65 miles an hour at the end of the straightaway. And here's the battle for 5th. It's Kenny Levins and Stacy Phillips. Phillips starting to gather that machine back in, trying to make a move back toward the front.
Well, he was in 2nd place. Meanwhile, we have a new leader. Brandon Young makes a move down inside and takes the lead away. Now, moving into 2nd place is number 42, Phil Schneider.
But that number 69 of Brandon Young out of the Excalibur Racing Stables, gonna be tough to beat. He always is here at Tunica.
Look at the battle going on right now for 3rd place.
And that's Levins and Lynch, your former leader, running back here battling for the 3rd spot.
Now on lap number 13, spinning out right there, is number 616, Roy Shemeka. We'll have more from Tunica after the break. O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people, and by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Haulmark, built strong for the way you work and play. Ted Jones, Bobby Waltrip here with you as we start lap 13 in the Stock Light category. In the lead very comfortably is Brandon Young.
Young still holding on to the top spot with Schneider, Levins, and look at this, it's Shemeka around again.
Shemeka hitting the wall one more time. That's going to put him way back in the field. They are neck and neck. There's quite a fight there for 2nd and 3rd. Comfortable with the lead, Brandon Young.
And it looks like Lucas Wallace started way back to the number 15 spot. He's made his way up into the top 5 here in the closing laps.
I think we're down to about 1 lap remaining as the white flag will come out. All 20 laps will be run. They will not get to the time limit. And with an easy win, it looks like it's going to be Brandon Young. In 2nd place, Stacy Phillips as they come across the finish line and get the checkered flag. Here's the way they finished all the way down through number 20. Let's go down now to Doc Riley once again with our winner.
Talk about that race.
Man, that was crazy. I didn't think I was ever going to get over it. The track's getting a little bit rougher. It's go-karts start getting tight there towards the end.
Up now, the Junior 2 heavies right here. Green flag goes down. Corey Talaska will take the lead.
And we'll see how long this lasts. These guys like to bump and run, root and grind. Up here, the little kids know how to put on a show.
Diving down inside is Preston Oberly as he takes the lead away from Talaska.
That 117 takes over the top spot. He's out front by about 2 kart lengths. The top 4 or 5 karts all nose to tail.
Here comes Jared Parker. Can he get down inside? A little bump, a little kiss. Yeah, Jared Parker takes the lead.
And that runs Oberly up to the top of the track. He goes from 1st, now 4th, looking to move all the way back to 5th in 1 turn.
Meanwhile, 3 abreast right there, the battle for 7th, Bobby.
Back here, it's going to be Jordan Blackhurst, Stephen Jones. Jones started all the way back in 20th.
Spinning out right there is number 12, Jared Parker. He loses the lead. We have another new leader coming up right now.
This is getting wild. The new leader, the 55, Awesome Austin Moore out front showing the way.
Nice comfortable lead. Very quickly, tell us a little bit about the Junior 2 heavy category.
These carts right here, similar to what we've seen all night long. These drivers a couple of years older, got a little bit bigger hole in that restrictor plate. And several carts getting together down here in turn 4. They continue to pile on.
On lap number 5, we have about 5 or 6 carts there to pile up, so we'll restart right now on lap number 10 as we move forward due to time limitation.
It's Austin Moore and Preston Oberly. Oberly here, moving down to the bottom. Sticks his nose in there, says, squeeze me, I'll come on through. He takes over the top spot.
Oberly, number 117, but it's not over yet. He's seriously challenged right there. Take a look, trying to move on the outside now. Diving down on the inside, tries to take Oberly out. Yes, sir, Oberly spins out another new leader coming up right now, and that is Mason Jordan.
But this still isn't over. Jordan dove down to the bottom, pushed his way to the front, and he comes around to lead that lap. Action continues to be hot and heavy, not just for the point, but look all the way back here. Several cars running back here for the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot. And a good battle back here for 4th. It's Cody Stange, Justin Sondergrath. Stange started all the way back in the 13th spot, Ted.
They go side by side, and then they swap positions as they go into the turn, trying to dive down inside. Notice how rough the track is right there in turn number 3, as Doc Riley pointed out earlier in the program.
The longer they run, the worse it gets, because it is a purpose-built track built here just for this weekend. Haul in the dirt, and it can only stand up to so much, and I'll bet it's had 10,000 laps on it this weekend.
Well, you're seeing a lot of action in turn number 4. They actually get out of shape going through that bumpy area in turn number 3. Wow, hitting the wall really hard right there is Colton Beeler.
And Beeler, wow, was pretty much on cruise control. Look at him. Said, what a dumb move that was.
Restart on lap 16, piling up in turn number 1 right there.
Sondergrath, over to your outside pole setter, Jared Parker, all involved with the white flag on the speedway.
This is the final lap. Coming down to try and take the win is Mason Jordan, seriously challenged right there. Let's see if he can hold it out in front. Heading down for the checkers, it's going to be Mason Jordan, barely pulled it out. Here's the way they finish. Let's go to Doc Riley.
This is my 2nd year at Tunica, and it's awesome.
And you pick up the winner's trophy. That's got to be cool, man.
Yes, sir.
All out of time. So long from Tunica, Mississippi.